Our opening words come from the poem For Spring by Alden Solovey. Shimmering, radiant air, alive with new warmth. Sunshine waking the earth, calling the grasses to grow. Bulbs to prepare flowers. Winds clear the last remnants of seasons past. Old leaves and dry branches, making way for new life. And the rain joins the sun to feed the land. Bless this day, God of seasons. Bless the spring with energy and hope. Be present with us as we celebrate the glory of creation, planting the land and our lives with your gifts, these gardens of holiness and love. God of time and space, may this season be a blessing and a teacher. Make me like the sunshine, a source of light. Make me like the earth, a source of bounty, ready to give. Bless my days with service and my nights with peace. Make me like a garden, a source of beauty and purpose, sustenance and splendor.
Anyone want to open the Wonderbox today? Okay, come on. What's in there? A book? Oh, I know why this is in here. So today, I think I heard we're going to be talking about poetry. Has anybody here ever tried your hands at poetry? Few brave souls. Anybody here ever been really intimidated by trying to write your own poem? Okay, so what's really neat, I've had a chance to experience writing an I am from poem. So if you should be inspired by service today, out in Fellowship Hall, there are some sheets out there that might inspire you. You don't have to do it here. You can take it home. It's kind of like Mad Libs meets poetry. So it's really cool. And what I have found over the years is sometimes the best poems are something that comes from your heart, from your lived experience, and those sort of things really connect with others, but also feel really cathartic and nice and releasing for you. So I thought I'd share this story, which isn't really a story. It's an I am from poem, and you don't need to see it, so it's okay. But I will also put this out there because it has gorgeous illustrations. I come from early morning wake-ups, handcrafted blankets knitted with memories. Is that my favorite? Pan-fried bologna, homemade pancakes, strawberry jam. I come from have to beat the traffic. Boy, you better hurry up. I'm going to be late for work. Cotton candy hair and razor sharp lineups, high fades and low fades, tight ponytails and laid edges. What's up, y'all? Rumbling, rattling, vroom. Good morning beats, hip hop and vibrating seats, and sunrise dancing. This bus ain't going nowhere until y'all, what do you think they said? This bus ain't going nowhere until y'all sit down. You guys remember being told that on the school bus, right? Four square, hoop dreams, grounders, double dutch, and freeze tag. You're it. You're it. Too soon. Morning whistles. Sky-high bookshelves, dusty classics, books that don't click with me, one or two that do. And the other kids, can I touch your hair? You don't sound black. Do you play basketball? Where are you from? I'm from notebooks, stubby pencils, drawing my own heroes, writing my own stories. From, honey, what you want? Caramel candy squares, butterscotch buttons, Tootsie Rolls. From leftovers, buttermilk biscuits, baked beans, and you better eat what's on your plate. Bear tight cuddles, late night belly laughs, taking turns and rolling dice. Is it bedtime already? Moon as a nightlight, soft pecks on the cheek, sleep tight and remember, you're from our dreams, hopes, ambitions, lion-like traditions. I come from somewhere, and that is the story I'm from, with words by Gary R. Gray Jr. and pictures by Oge Mora. And now we will sing our youth and children out to their classes today.
And our first poem is Boomish Parsha by Thich Nhat Hanh. Death comes with his impressive scythe and says, "You should be afraid of me." I look up and ask, "Why should I be afraid of you?" "Because I will make you dead. I will make you non-existent." "How can you make me non-existent?" Death does not answer. He swings his impressive scythe. I say, "I come and go, and I go. Then I come again, and I go again. I always come back. You can neither make me exist nor non-exist." "How do you know that you will come again?" Death asks. "I know because I have done that countless times," I say. "How do I know that you are telling the truth?" "Who can be the witness?" Death frowns. I touch the earth and say, "Earth is the witness. She is my mother." Suddenly, Death hears the music. Suddenly, Death hears the birds singing from all directions. Suddenly, Death sees the trees blossoming. Earth makes herself apparent to Death and smiles lovingly to him. Death melts in the loving gaze of Earth. "Oh, my beloved, touch Earth every time you get scared. Touch her deeply, and your sorrow will melt away. Touch her deeply, and you will touch the deathless."
Remember Me by Jalal al-Din Muhammad Rumi. I will be with you in the grave on the night you leave behind your shop and your family. When you hear my soft voice echoing in your tomb, you will realize that you were never hidden from my eyes. I am the pure awareness within your heart, with you during joy and celebration, suffering and despair. On that strange and fateful night, you will hear a familiar voice. You'll be rescued from the fangs of snakes and the searing sting of scorpions. The euphoria of love will sweep over your grave. It will bring wine and friends, candles and food. When the light of realization dawns, shouting and upheaval will rise from the grave. The dust of ages will be stirred by the cities of ecstasy, by the banging of drums, by the clamor of revolt. Dead bodies will tear off their shrouds and stuff their ears in fright. What use are the senses and the ears before the blast of that tempest? Look and you will see my form, whether you are looking at yourself or toward that noise and confusion. Don't be blurry-eyed. See me clearly. See my beauty without the old eyes of delusion. Beware, beware. Don't mistake me for this human form. The soul is not obscured by forms. Even if we're wrapped in 100 folds of felt, the rays of the soul's light would still shine through. Beat the drum. Follow the minstrels of the city. It's a day of renewal when every young man walks boldly on the path of love. Had everyone sought God instead of crumbs and copper coins, they would not be sitting on the edge of the moat in darkness and regret. What kind of gossip house have you opened in our city? Close your lips and shine on the world like loving sunlight. Shine like the love of sun of Tabriz rising in the east. Shine like the star of victory. Shine like the whole universe is yours. In Sunday school, I was taught about the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus. My mother delivered us there, but she did not attend church herself or talk to us about religion. And death was not a topic of conversation in our home. Maybe because we were discouraged from chattering in general, I was not a child who asked why. In any case, neither the Bible story nor the ritual of dressing up in new clothes caused me to ponder the spirituality of life and death. The memory of those new clothes, made with matching material for all of us by my grandmother, comes back to me when I read Nancy Pulley's poem, Easter Dresses. She asks the questions I did not and ties her memories to the new growth of spring. Nancy writes, I grew to understand the importance of resurrection of flowers blooming after winter of the family coming back from the long winter of my father's death. The sun startled me when I came out of the cold house in a new dress and a straw bonnet, petticoat starched. Did Jesus feel like this, eyes blinking in the bright surprise of daylight after the dark tomb? Lined up for pictures, my sisters and I beamed, a row of irises blooming after a long wait underground, unquote. Oblivious to meaning, my brothers and I had fun celebrating Easter. Coloring boiled eggs with food dye, for example, takes me back to the scent of vinegar and the chaotic mess of our kitchen table. I remember having to wait for my youngest brother, a toddler then, to find some eggs in the grass before I was allowed to charge out and grab the rest. And then later in the week, we ate yummy egg salad sandwiches for lunch. As an adult, I became tuned in to the biological and botanical events of nature, as well as the cycles of life and death in human experience. Whether understood through science or religion, there is something universal about the amount of sunshine and the change from drab winter to greening warmer weather that reawakens the will for rejuvenation. For example, I try harder to lose weight every year at this time. I manage to go outside and walk more frequently. And in spring cleaning mode, I start thinking about a garage sale. Spring is a force in my life. With education and maturity, my view of Easter has changed from the delights of egg hunting and eating candy to an understanding of the death and rebirth cycle that becomes more apparent in spring. By whatever name we give it, all our interfaith partners have similar ways of celebrating and thinking about this cycle of living and dying. I am glad we have this opportunity to explore a variety of interfaith views through poetry.
Our next poem is One Day in Spring by Rabindranath Tagore. One day in spring, a woman came in my lonely woods, in the lovely form of the beloved, came to give to my songs melodies, to give to my dreams sweetness. Suddenly, a wild wave broke over my heart's shores and drowned all language. To my lips, no name came. She stood beneath the tree, turned, glanced at my face, made sad with pain, and with quick steps came and sat by me. Taking my hands in hers, she said, "You do not know me, nor I you. I wonder how this could be." I said, "We two shall build a bridge forever between two beings, each to the other unknown. This eager wonder is at the heart of things. The cry that is in my heart is also the cry of her heart. The thread with which she binds me binds her too. Her have I sought everywhere. Her have I worshipped within me. Hidden in that worship, she has sought me too. Crossing the wide oceans, she came to steal my heart. She forgot to return, having lost her own. Her own charms play traitor to her. She spreads her net, knowing not whether she will catch or be caught."
That's a Season of the Egg by Marge Piercy. It's the season of the egg, older than any named creed. That perfect shape that signs a pregnant woman, the moon slightly compressed, as if a great serpent held it in its opened mouth to carry or to eat. Eggs smell funky, slipped from under the hen's breast, hotter than our blood. Christians paint them. We roast them. The only time in the whirling year I ever eat roasted egg. A campfire flavor, burnt, reeking of haste, like the matzah there was no time to let rise. We like our eggs honest, brown. Outside my window, the chickadees choose partners to lay tiny round eggs. The egg of the world cracks raggedly open, and the wet, scraggly chick of northern spring emerges gaunt, dripping. Soon, it will preen its green feathers so it will grow fat and strong, its wings blue and binding. Tonight, we dip the eggs in salt water like bowls of tears. Elijah comes with the fierce early spring bringing prophecy that cracks open the head swollen with importance. Every day, there is more work to do and stronger light.
To be honest, I have not always been such a fan of poetry. Though my younger self never really thought about the reasons, I think my main issue was that poetry often leaves a lot out, leaves much of the context to the reader's imagination. This often made me worried that I was not understanding it correctly or visualizing it accurately. I have come to realize that I was overthinking. A poem invites you to engage your imagination, to join the poet on the journey and see what they see. Notice what they notice about a given situation. There is no right or wrong, no correct or incorrect. It is an intimate form of communication between the poet's imagination and the reader's imagination. You sit with a poem and see what feelings it evokes in your mind. Sometimes poetry intends to make the reader uncomfortable. Sometimes the meaning is unclear, and that can be intentional too. The poet may not have all the answers, but is exploring the question with the reader. Poetry often paints a picture. Using only a few words, it pulls the reader into a whole world and prods them to rely on context clues to get the whole picture. Or sometimes it's up to the reader to fill in the blanks so that the experience of the poem might be quite different for each person. Poetry can point out profound truths of human existence, sometimes with very little warning or buildup. It is sometimes shocking and provocative in a way that other styles of writing are not. Poems evoke feelings and awaken our imagination. Poetry from religions and cultures that we are not familiar with pulls us into a world which may feel unfamiliar in its details, but often speaks of themes common to all of human existence. And yet, they may speak of these themes in ways which are new to us, in a manner that the culture we are familiar with does not. They might open our eyes to new understandings of concepts we've known our whole lives. So I've come to appreciate poetry. Though I still sometimes fall into my previous worries of understanding a poem correctly, I now do my best to just take it as it comes and be comfortable with my reaction to the words, whatever it may be. Poetry often asks for more from the reader than other types of writing, but that's what makes it such a beautiful form of art.